not 50-50. One, Beterbiev is 38 years old. Beterbiev has been down.
Yes.
Bivol never been down. Bivol been in there with who at the time was pound the best, which was Canelo Alvarez. Made him look like nothing. So I'm not saying it's 50-50. Beterbiev got everything.
As October 12th is nearer, there has been a lot of talk on who will be the beast between Bivol and Beterbiev.
Dmitry, listen, your opponent he's been putting fighters in the ward like Andre. Can you actually knock him out? Is it possible and feasible that it could be you that knocks him out?
We all human being. Everything could happen, and we saw that he was knocked down before. Of course, everything could be happening.
It's the fight everyone's been waiting for, the battle that could define the light heavyweight division for the next few years live on.
Zone, look at that. Sensational. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol for all the belts at 175 pounds.
While most are finding it hard to make a guess for this one, most pros think they know how this will go. Beterbiev will do what Beterbiev does best, unleash his devastating power and end the fight before it hits the final bell, and Bivol is proving them wrong.
Generational greats, the best two light heavyweights in the world fighting for every single belt. I hope that casual fans around the world can hear and listen and understand the importance of this fight, because this is a fight that for me can only be an...
Well, if we're honest, it's hard to argue with the story of Beterbiev winning. When you look at Beterbiev's record of a perfect 20 with every single win coming by knockout, no one has managed to hear the final bell. When they face the Russian machine, he fights with brutal efficiency, stalking his opponents, cutting off the ring, and delivering punches with the kind of force that makes even the toughest fighters go down. His calm demeanor hides a frightening truth. When Beterbiev gets in close, it's usually just a matter of time before his opponent falls.
You look at Dmitry Bivol, he's using his speed, he's using his cunning, he's using angles, he's using jabs, he's tripling up on jabs, he's feinting, he's doing pull counters, he's doing everything. He's showing an arsenal of understanding in the ring, and that's why he's going to get boxing IQ. Not that Artur Beterbiev doesn't have boxing IQ, but when you hit like a freaking bear, you don't need boxing IQ. You just need to scare them.
But this isn't just any fight. It's not just another night in the ring for Beterbiev. This time he's up against Dmitry Bivol, a boxer who brings something completely different to the table. Bivol isn't about brute strength or knockout power. He's about finesse, accuracy, and control. He doesn't just beat his opponents. He makes them look outclassed, outsmarted, and out of their league. And when the two finally meet, the question isn't just who will win, but how it will happen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, good! Yeah, baby!
Beterbiev's recent knee surgery might have raised some eyebrows, but the man himself stays as stoic as ever. When asked about his readiness, Beterbiev didn't even blink. "I'm 100% sure," he said. His words are as cool and measured as his fighting style. There's no swagger, no trash talk, just quiet confidence. When he was asked if he was expecting another knockout, Beterbiev shrugged it off with a simple, "I never try to knock someone out. It just happens, and that's the scary part. It really just happened."
Against Bivol. You know, when I had two fights, unification fights. Unification fights is more interesting, it's more motivated. I prefer unified.
So you want to be undisputed?
Yeah, I want to be undisputed.
Beterbiev doesn't go out there trying to land a single knockout punch from the first bell. He breaks his opponents down one punch at a time, and when they finally can't take it anymore, the knockout happens almost naturally for Beterbiev. A knockout is just a byproduct of his pressure, his precision, and his ability to land punishing shots round after round.
Фотографируем, типа face to face, там реклама.
But despite the almost overwhelming narrative that Beterbiev is going to dominate, there's one guy who isn't buying into the hype: David Bivol. He's heard the predictions, he's read the news, and he's well aware that most people are expecting him to get knocked out just like the 20 men before him, yet Bivol is not fazed. There's a quiet confidence in Bivol that's tough to ignore. It's the same confidence that carried him through his biggest fight to date, his 2020 win over Canelo Alvarez. When Bivol went into the ring with Canelo, the majority of fans expected him to fold under the pressure. After all, Canelo was the golden boy of boxing, a fighter who had taken on and beaten the best across various weight classes. But Bivol didn't just live against Canelo, he dominated him. He didn't let Canelo get into his rhythm, keeping the Mexican superstar at bay with his footwork and pinpoint accuracy.
Look at him go! Oh my word, Bivol! And Canelo wants more of it!
It was clear who the better man was by the end of the fight. Bivol faces a totally different challenge in Beterbiev, where Canelo was tactical and quick. Beterbiev is raw power and relentless pressure, but Bivol is unfazed, thinking his style is the key to victory. He's not interested in getting into a slugfest with Beterbiev. That's not his game. Instead, Bivol will look to control the pace, manage the distance, and frustrate Beterbiev by never giving him the chance to land those damaging punches. And while many experts have warned Bivol about the dangers of standing in front of a fighter like Beterbiev, he shut those worries down with the same confidence that has gotten him this far. "I know what I'm capable of," Bivol said recently, sounding more like a man with something to prove than someone who's scared. "I've faced tough opponents before, and I know how to handle pressure."
I believe that it's the hardest test. Why? Because he's stronger. I know he's physically stronger than Canelo, and he has good technique too. Many people talk about his power, but they forget about
that pressure will come from the moment the first bell rings. Beterbiev isn't the kind of fighter who waits around. He moves forward, he presses, and he forces his opponents to make mistakes, but Bivol is a master of patience. He won't be drawn into reckless exchanges. He'll wait for his open encounter when the time is right and avoid the kind of trouble that has swallowed up so many of Beterbiev's previous opponents. However, as much as he thinks that many have other perspectives on the fight, and one of the many interesting predictions came from Mike Tyson, the outcome seems pretty clear. "I just don't see how Bivol will keep Beterbiev out for 12 rounds. Tyson said Tyson's been there. He's felt that kind of power, that pressure. Beterbiev isn't just about brute force. He's smart, and Tyson understands that he's very cerebral. Tyson says he is stressing how calculated Beterbiev is in his approach. He doesn't just go in and throw wild punches. He thinks through every move and every step, setting up his shots in ways that make him so dangerous." Bivol, on the other hand, has gained respect too. Tyson admits that Bivol has been a punch-perfect boxer so far. He's impressed by Bivol's technical ability and how clean he fights always exactly with his punches, but Tyson's concern comes down to size. Bivol got a lot of credit for beating Canelo, but as Tyson points out, Canelo is tiny compared to him. Bivol had a physical edge in that fight that he won't have against Beterbiev.
And Benavidez, who do you think is the biggest challenge for you?
Oh, Beterbiev.
Beterbiev?
Yeah,
why is that?
of course. Because he's a champion. He has something to offer me. He's strong. He's in another way. He's a lot of things. A lot of things.
Tyson knows Beterbiev is a totally different kind of challenge. A bigger, stronger, more relentless fighter Beterbiev is not, so that could be the difference. Tyson says, suggesting that Bivol may be in for a rough night when he steps into the ring with a man who matches, if not exceeds his physicality. But Tyson leaves room for the unpredictable nature of boxing finishing with, but again, we'll see it's going to happen even in his confidence. Tyson knows anything can happen once the bell rings. Interview 15, Robert Garcia has offered a slightly different perspective, although he sees the danger Beterbiev brings for Garcia. "It's almost hard to pick a clear winner. I can't wait for that one man." He is clearly excited about what's to come. He's not alone in this feeling. Everyone is eagerly expecting this fight, knowing that it's one of the toughest matchups to call. Garcia leans towards Bivol, but even though he's cautious with his prediction, I lean towards Bivol by decision, pointing to Bull's style as the key reason. Bivol's ability to control distance and dictate the pace of a fight is something Garcia thinks will help him avoid Beterbiev's dangerous power. He's not going to allow Beterbiev to step in and get close. Garcia explains, highlighting what could be the crucial factor in the fight. If Bivol can keep Beterbiev at bay, avoid the heavy shots, and outbox him from a distance, then a decision victory seems likely. But even as he leans towards Bivol, Garcia knows better than to count out Beterbiev. I wouldn't be shocked if Beterbiev steps in and hurts him and knocks him out. He admits the power carries is something you can never ignore, and Garcia knows that guy has so much power he can knock anybody out. He adds, supporting the point that no matter how good Bivol is technically, all it takes is one mistake for Beterbiev to land a shot that could end the night early still. Garcia's gut feeling leans towards Bivol, but it's clear he's not fully confident in that prediction. There's too much doubt and too much power in Beterbiev's hands for anyone to feel safe betting against him. Golovkin brings up Callum Smith and Callum Johnson, both of whom have fought Bivol. These are fighters who have experienced personally just how clever Bivol is in the ring. They say he's just so clever. Golovkin shows he's not just walking forward and throwing bombs. He's using feint, subtle movements, and high-level ring IQ to set up his punches. The feints and the moves are really cute. Golovkin says, using a word you don't often hear in boxing to describe Beterbiev's skill set, there's a great IQ there. Golovkin finished stressing that Beterbiev isn't just a brute force. He's a cerebral fighter who knows exactly what he's doing at all times. It's this mix of power and intelligence that makes him so dangerous.
Good, yes. Nice. Good.
Alexander Usyk, a fellow technical wizard in the ring, has so far brought a different kind of understanding. Usyk is one of those fighters who understands the art of boxing and the technical side of things, and that's why he's so impressed by Bivol. Bivol is very different. Usyk says, describing him as a technical operator who has very few flaws. Bivol's ability to stay focused and stick to his game plan is something Usyk admires. He points out that Bivol is watertight, meaning he doesn't leave many openings for his opponents to attack. It's a quality that has served him well throughout his career, and Usyk thinks it will play a big role in this fight. Usyk doesn't stop there. He goes on to praise Bivol's mastery of the 12-round distance. I've always sort of thought of Bivol in this one. Usyk says that for him, Bivol's ability to fight at a high level for 12 rounds without slowing down or making mistakes gives him the edge. I just think he's a master of the 12-round distance. Usyk says, adding that Bivol is really tough to work out to look good against. That's the challenge for Beterbiev, finding a way to break through Bivol's defenses and land something big. Usyk thinks Bivol's technical skills might be just a little bit better than Beterbiev's, giving him a slight advantage in what is expected to be a close competitive fight. Joshua, who has been around both fighters, shared an interesting take on the matchup. He doesn't just focus us on one fighter's skills. He acknowledges the abilities of both men. Bivol is technically better than what people think. Watsy says, extending what Golovkin and many of us think, people tend to focus on Beterbiev knockout power, but Body knows there's more to him than that. He's got a 100% knockout record, so he has to use that. Barry continues, realizing that Beterbiev's power is still his biggest weapon, even if he's technically sound as well. On the other side, Body is equally struck by Bivol. Bivol is technically even better than what we think, he says, admitting that Bivol's technical skills are perhaps underrated as well. We all think he's technically good, but it's technically probably better than we think what it adds for him. The key to the fight will be how each man uses their different strengths. Beterbiev will need to rely on his power and his ability to break opponents down, while Bivol will need to use his movement and technical skills to avoid getting into dangerous exchanges, but it'll be interesting, Body says, clearly excited to see how the fight plays. Callum Simpson, who has spent time around Beterbiev, brought a personal viewpoint to the table for him. There's something special about Beterbiev that sets him apart from other fighters. He will be the same Beterbiev. I promise that Simpson is confident that his boyfriend's recent knee injury won't affect his performance. Simpson describes Beterbiev as built differently, a fighter who works on a different level from everyone else. It's not just about physical traits for Simpson. It's about Beterbiev mentality, his work ethic, and the team he has around him. Everyone that I've been living with is just built differently, Simpson says, emphasizing the idea that Beterbiev is a unique talent. He also gives credit to Beterbiev's team, specifically his head coach, Mark Ramsey. Mark Ramsey is the head coach, and other boxing coaches have covered all the basics. Simpson explains, pointing out that Beterbiev's training for this fight has been meticulous. He's got the best. Simpson concludes, leaving no question in his mind that Beterbiev will be ready for whatever Bivol brings to the table. However, David Bivol approaches this fight with an air of calm confidence. He knows what he's up against, yet Bivol is unaffected by the power that has stopped every opponent Beterbiev has faced. Instead, he embraces the task. Every fight that I have, I see it as the most difficult task for me. Bivol stated understanding the danger Beterbiev brings into the ring, but for him it's not personal. Beterbiev has something. He wants the IBF, WBC, and WBO titles, and Bivol is eager to take them. I believe in my skills. I will do everything to be uncontested, and I'm capable of doing it. Bivol confidently said, leaving no doubt in his mind that he can handle the job ahead. The key to Bivol's success lies in his control. He's not a fighter who gets drawn into brawls or reckless exchanges. Bivol knows how to stick to a game plan. Something that will be important when facing Beterbiev. Bivol's jab in particular could be the tool that neutralizes Beterbiev's power. The jab will help him to control the distance, keep Beterbiev at bay, and frustrate his attempts to close the gap.
Then it's like, boom, 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 boom. And then you're like looking over like, oh my gosh, like, and then what was after, like, I remember after the first time we sparred, the second time, like there was about 8-7 of us, and then we would all get in a huddle, like, all right, guys, if you're in first, you go for, like, we're actually like, it was so
Operation
fun.
We're Out the
I'm telling you, like, so we go on, like, I remember Bolotniks was there as well, and then we were like, Bolotniks, like, he was like,
Who wins this fight? That's the big question. Beterbiev's power is a game changer, but being Bivol has the tools to turn this into a clever chess match. If Bivol can take the fight into the later rounds, his chances improve significantly better. Beterbiev has never been pushed to a full 12 rounds, and stamina could become a problem if Bivol drags him deep into unfamiliar territory. Beterbiev's ability to win decisions is proven, and if he can keep his composure and avoid the big shots, he could emerge victorious on the scorecards that said Beterbiev's relentlessness cannot be ignored. Even in his recent fight against Anthony Yarde, where he was hit more than normal, Beterbiev never stopped pressing forward. Yarde landed clean shots, but they barely seemed to faze the Russian-Canadian powerhouse, who finally walked him down and stopped him. Bivol, though, is a far more elusive target than Yarde. His defense is tighter, his movement is slicker, and his ring IQ is probably higher. Lyndon Arthur, who has sparred with Beterbiev and faced Bivol in the ring, knows better than most just how tough this fight will be. I've sparred with Beterbiev. I know how hard he hits in 16. I wouldn't like to take those shots in 10. Not for as long as that, in a 12-round fight. Arthur said he's clearly aware of the risk Bivol faces as a boxer through and through, and he'll be happy to stay in there and box his head off if it can be done.
Message for Dmitry Bivol now that he's here?
He know already.
Dmitry, Artur Beterbiev.
Bivol's confidence, though, stays unshaken. He knows this is the fight that will define his legacy, and he's ready to rise to the moment. Whether his skill set will be enough to minimize Beterbiev's power remains to be seen, but Bivol's calm, methodical approach could be the key to unlocking the puzzle that is Beterbiev. As Bivol himself said, I believe in my skills, and in a fight, this big trust might just be what carries him to victory. What do you think? Share your ideas below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more.